Hello, my friends. Today is July the 31st, and this is a psychic reading for you if this is your birth date. This is a four-card pull to cover the year to follow. I do psychic readings and healing work for nearly 40 years now. Check out my credits. I do a lot of internet readings, one-on-one personal. This is a four-card reading, as I said, a lens card to look at the year, a challenge you might face this year, an action you can take to stay in balance, and an outcome or synopsis card. This is approximately 6 to 10 minutes, so bear with me. This is the lens card for the year. What are you going to look? What's to remind you through the year? Keep coming back to this particular card, the ring. The ring is all about the commitments you make. The ring. We put a ring on a finger as a commitment. We form rings with people of commitment. We form rings. We give rings. We give declarations. We make things connected. This is all about the connections you make, and whether you're honoring the rings, the connections, the commitments you've made, or whether those commitments might be old and outdated and no longer serve you, in which case maybe you need to ritualize them and break them off and maybe start anew or finish them out. But if there's also rings that you have made commitments to and you've forgotten about them, maybe it's time to recommit yourself to those rings, those commitments, those statements you made in your heart and your head and your soul about doing this with someone else or with something else or for something else or towards something else. What are the rings of commitment that you have made in your life, and are you living up to the commitments of them? And if you're not living up to what you said you were going to do and be and say in them, then maybe you again need to end them, or you need to redevote yourself to them. So this is all about those things that you have committed to and signed and proposed and officiated, become official in, and so here's your challenge. It's justice card. So this is some kind of legal matter, quite possibly, or some kind of matter of justice and fairness. Maybe it's not a legal matter. Maybe it's just a heart matter of justice and fairness. And the challenge is to feel like justice and fairness is coming to you, is being given to you. That things are working, for you to have a say, and you to have a right, and you to have a side that's heard deeply and clearly and honestly, and for what you wish to have happen to come forward in a truthful and balanced way. But there's the fear around that something's not working right, or that the law is not going to serve you right, or that the other person doesn't really care about your justice, doesn't care about being fair in this. Maybe you don't either. So you have to look at that. This is one of those rings of, did you make a promise and forget about it, and now it's coming to be paid in some way, it's coming due in some way? Did you sign a paper, that committed you, but you didn't read the fine print, and now you're stuck? Or did someone go against their agreement from their side, and they're just messing you over? So this is all about those issues of fairness and issues of equality and issues of finding justice, and looking at the rings of commitment and saying, "Oh boy, that was a bad ring," or "Oh, I should have followed that ring," or "Oh, I'm still committed to that ring, and I'm going to hold the ring of integrity. I'm going to hold the ring of my truth. I'm going to hold the ring of my being. I'm going to hold the ring of fairness, looking for fairness and justice and equality, so that everybody gets heard and everybody, a smooth decision is made." So that's your challenge, to be there, to have that happen, to think that that's going to happen. Maybe it's happening, and maybe you just are worried about it. All those questions are roaming around your sense of commitments to things. And here's the action to take. The mouse, and mouse, is often given the sense of scrutiny. Mouse with those, giant eyes and that little body looking up at big things, wide-eyed, going, "What's going on? What's going on? I got to look at this really close, like really close to see things and to understand things." So Mouse is saying, get up close to things. Really read the fine print. Really look at the statements that are made. Really look at the feelings that are being felt, and what's underneath some of these decisions that are making and coloring your existence. Really looking at your own sense of commitment to the process. Did you falter? Did they falter? Is there something that's missed? Is there something that's just not being seen that could clear this all up? Maybe it's just a simple little clarity mark that needs to be said, oh, but what about this? And everybody goes, oh, yes. Oh, yes. Oh, yes, we can find balance now. We can find the ring of understanding now. We can find a better ring of connection and commitment now, and we can be served in a better way. So Mouse is here to help you look at the small print and look at the finer issues and look at all the little intricacies. It's about looking at all the small things that make up this whole pattern. Maybe this is a lot of legwork. Maybe this is a lot of analysis. Maybe there's a lot of internet work. Maybe this is a city hall work. Maybe this is just the understanding of why somebody doesn't feel fair. Maybe this is a lot of verbal work. Mouse is not necessarily about being quiet. But it's about scrutinizing. So, are you scrutinizing someone else's place and thoughts and feelings about it, as well as your own, as well as somebody else's? Are you taking everybody's feelings and thoughts into consideration? And if you want justice and fairness, then maybe that needs to be your path as well. But Mouse says, whatever you're going to look at, look at it closely, look at it very closely, and you're going to find a way to go through it that makes sense to you. And here's the outcome card. I think, being in harmony with the universe, trusting the flow of things, but, still standing up for your integrity, still standing up with your ethics and your morals, still standing up in your sense of fairness and equality, and learning how it's not always about bad versus good. It's not always about right versus wrong. It's often about nuance of hidden things that need to be understood and shared, and nuance about, well, everybody could feel like they're a victim in this, or everybody could feel like, their needs are being met in this, and it's just a simple working it out, not being so afraid of it, but working it out and listening to each other, looking for the fine print, understanding the sensitive commitment that you might have fallen behind on, or that they might have fallen behind on, and really looking at what's the sense of commitment that you have, period, overall in this. And, ethically, morally, spiritually, physically, mentally, emotionally, what are the rings of commitments that you're having? And this is a kind of a totality card that says, keep playing the music, keep playing the dance, keep being in your body, keep going forward. This is just part of the flow of understanding. Tests keep coming back to us, and joys keep coming back to us, and life keeps coming back to us, and so find a way to make some music while it's happening. Whatever that means, maybe some physical music, maybe it's just recognizing, the dynamic play of the universe is going to have some cacophony as well as some beautiful, pleasing sounds. And this is just part of the process, rise up and get a bigger picture of the whole thing, and don't, I think, maybe either not take things quite so seriously and create a lot of fear of them, or take them a little more seriously and really say, well, what do I believe and what do I want to share and what do I want to hold as my truth? What do I want to hold as my rings of commitment this year? And that's the biggest question. What rings of commitment are you going to strengthen? What ones are you going to let fall and break and, ritualize and be done with and allow to dissolve? And what rings are you going to look at to say, oh, I missed my part in this and I've kind of been slack, and I'm going to pull my side up and develop a more fair and balanced energy around it. So blessed be to you this year.